We were never rattled, ever, because we're always in the moment, always in the present, always extremely calm, always looking at the reality of the situation and not letting our emotions cloud our execution. I switch my mind to something else, switch my mode into something else. Stone cold killer. You gotta put yourself in that cage. When I'm in that cage, bro, don't touch me. For me, it's the equivalent of Maximus Decimus Meridius in Gladiator picking up the dirt, smelling the dirt. It's go time.
Up before the dawn, ready for Judgment Day. A lethal underdog, walking on to make 'em pay. Woke up feeling dangerous. That stuff so contagious. We got 10 toes down, so let the haters say what they say.
If you ain't orange and brown, you don't matter anyway. Woke up feeling dangerous. That stuff. We got that dog check. Found in a way you make the wrong bet. If you're doubting our game, we give our last breath. One more play, and we'll make another name. We're ready for Judgment Day. Against the world. My city is on the brink. Tonight we're about to go. I'm hearing the crowd begin to rise in stereo. Sky's bringing on and getting in off the lake. Thunder rolls. And all the people shouting out a name. Cleveland, born to fight and believing. We ride or die, hear 'em screaming. Every boy and girl.
Yes, I hear you.
All righty, everybody. Whew, that was an interesting one. It was a low-scoring game. Yours truly had. I feel pretty good about my score prediction, as I always do. Very, very scary game there. I felt uneasy basically the entire game. There were some questionable decisions that we had in that game and some inconsistencies. So it is an odd feeling being 3-1 right now because of that game. But like I said in the pregame, good teams beat mediocre teams, and we did that today, and we survived.
Right.
Okay, Dad, what were your thoughts on the game?
Well, in golf, we have a saying: you hit a bad shot and you squirrel it down the fairway, and it curls up on the green like 3 feet away. Ugly but effective. Right. And that's how I describe this game from start to finish. Ugly but effective. They let them score easily, drive right down the field on them. Okay, now our time to answer. We drive all the way down the field, and we can't get it in. We can't punch it in. And then we go for it on 4th down. You and I are screaming at each other, kick the damn field goal. No, he doesn't, and he doesn't get it. The momentum shifts again back to them. However, from that point on, I mean, anytime you can hold a team to 7 points for the entire game on an offense like Minnesota that has weapons and a good quarterback, your defense has played very, very well. And I can't say that for the offense. Baker missed guys wide open time after time after time. That probably was the worst game I've seen Baker play from a passing standpoint and decision-making. The play calling was okay. It got guys open. Chubb and Hunt ran really, really well.
Yeah.
We didn't get the tight ends involved in the game very much. Couple up front, in the first, second quarter, but then disappeared. He tried to force the ball to Beckham a couple of times. A couple of times he was open. He just missed him. Just flat out missed him. And when he missed badly, way over their head, behind. So, if it was a loss, it would be on Baker. Offensive line did really well. Punting was fine. The kicker was great. So we got no complaints there. Play calling was okay. Creative. The defense stepped up. Joe Woods put pressure on him.
Yep.
He got out of it a couple of times, a couple of bad penalties. They had a couple of bad penalties. So I think that evened the score. We lost Wills. I don't know if we lost Clowney went out, but he came back in. They were certainly gassed at the end.
Sure.
Thank God we had 2 timeouts to call so that we could rest our own players. So it's, like I said, ugly but effective. We won 3-1.
Yeah, and I just want to give a shout out quickly to Max Nikolenko, who came in with a $5 super chat. We got ourselves a kicker, and that cannot be understated. The kid, Chase McLaughlin, 2 for 2, 53-yard field goal today.
Right.
And another one that was in the, it was an NFL kick. It was in the 40s. I don't know exactly what it was, but my gosh, has Chase McLaughlin really helped us out today.
We get it too. We get a penalty on the extra points so that we go for a 2-point conversion, make it easily. I mean, it's like, it's just like a no-brainer. And we go up, we're playing terrible, losing 7-0. All of a sudden we're winning 8-7. Amazing. Yeah. Football is a crazy game.
Yeah. Rustano is going to be joining us here in a second as well. Game balls, Kareem Hunt goes 14 carries, 69 yards and a touchdown, 2 receptions for 17 yards. Nick Chubb carries 21 times for 100 yards even and added 1 reception on the ground. couple of big catches for Higgins that were
Right.
really nice. Greedy Williams has his, I want to say that was his first career interception. If I had to guess, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's got an interception. That's
Keep
the
me
first
honest, chat, on that. Please keep me honest. Cole Cobley 57, welcome. Who else? Mike, what were your thoughts on just before we get into the frustrating parts of the game? What were your thoughts on the good parts of your game? Starting off with who I'm starting to believe is probably your favorite player. Give it to us.
Well, yeah, I mean, he plays at a different speed. I mean, that's for sure. Something that we haven't seen for a while, and that's Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I'm sure you're talking about.
That's who I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's. I mean, what a steal! Where we got him at. We essentially got 2 first-round draft picks with Newsome and Jock, and yeah, I mean, he's the kid's electric. I mean, he was everywhere. When was the last time you saw a linebacker play where, the initial read was to drop back 2 steps and then change of direction and then missile and make a tackle, for a half-yard loss? I mean,
and actually execute the tackle.
Absolutely.
I mean, we saw guys like Joe Schobert who were here before who actually made a Pro Bowl with whiffing on tackles. This kid is having a Pro Bowl season and he's executing.
Yeah, I mean,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, he's yeah, I mean, I think I said it earlier, he's electric.
Yeah. The Pee Wee is great. Browns are 3-1 with a top 3 defense. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, I mean, so first off, I mean, we all expected 14-7. And I'm being facetious there, but yeah, I mean, after that the first drive was, and I might have even tweeted something about it, but it was like, oh, okay, hello, week 1 and 2 defense. And then, they settled down, and yeah, I mean, first off, they won the game. And second, we're seeing that growth. So and you don't have Newsome out there. Greedy comes in, he plays well. I mean, he had that one play where he got a little caught up and they had like a 15, 16-yard game. But overall, Greedy played well. The defense played well. That defensive line continues to get pressure and get pressure without even blitzing. So, yeah, I mean, it was a defensive day. And, we're lucky that we got a quality defense to bail us out. It's been a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Some shout outs for some people in the chat. Max Nikolenko came through with that super chat. Kyle Lou's back in the house. Gary Washington is here. X-Men Avenger 23, BCI from Cleveland. Jonathan Schlegel, John Sansbury, Shoot to Thrill, Pee Wee is great. Troy Kozlowski, Ryan Brown. Sorry, I was reading Gary Washington twice. Mary Ventresca. What's going on, Mary? X-Men Avenger 23, Steve Z. Most of the people, anybody else that's coming in here, I will give you shout outs. Mids Plug is in the house as well. So thank you guys all for joining us. And you know what the best news is? We get to drink from the Victory Monday mug.
Yay.
Tomorrow. Everybody, let's get some mugs up in chat. Get some mugs up in chat, please, if you have the ability to do so. And yeah, awesome. It is a good feeling when you can do that. And we'll be giving them away. Also, we'll be giving them away on the Wednesday show.
Yeah. So
another great one. And I don't know if the ones from last week are going to get out in time. The guys from Cleveland Clothing Co. We're trying to get them out so they get there by Monday, but I don't know. So the ones from last week, but we shall see. So, all right. So let's talk a little bit more about this game. Let me give you my thoughts here. I thought I was frustrated because Kirk Cousins kept throwing those little floater passes and landing him right in the breadbasket where only Jefferson could catch it. Adam Thielen comes up with a big catch at the end of the game. But ultimately, what I wanted to happen is putting pressure on Kirk Cousins and making him make really fast decisions is a difficult thing. And that's what we had to do today. And I believe we were able to. And I think that's why he had an off game. Kirk Cousins was 20 for 38, 203, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So he threw his first interception, right? Dalvin Cook, 9 carries, 34 yards for an average of 3.8. Dalvin Cook is not healthy. I have him in one fantasy league and did not start him today because I did not believe he was going to do well, and turns out he didn't. JJ Jefferson, though, with 6 receptions, 84 yards and 1 touchdown, he's a scary dude. He is a weapon. But for everybody else, the Browns are able to do it. Some interesting stats here to share with everybody. We have Baker was 15 for 33, 155 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 0 fumbles. And so Baker himself he's come back to earth after those first couple games where he was just, he was 19 for 21. So this is, and I don't know if it's the shoulder. I don't know what it is, but he is not the same guy he's been. And when he missed Odell for that touchdown strike at the end of the game, that would have sealed it, number one, for just getting a first down, but Odell probably would have taken it to the house. I don't know about you guys. I saw some frustration on both Baker and Odell on that play. Did you guys get the same feeling? I'll throw it to Mike first. Did you get the same feeling on that play? And do you think that there is the chemistry issue that has been plaguing those two? Is it back?
No, I don't believe in that theory. I don't think there's a chemistry issue. I think that there's 20 some other quarterbacks in the league that would be able to find Odell when he's open and put a ball on him. I don't believe in it. I think today is another. I talked about earlier. We talked about it on the Wednesday show. Looking back at last week, 2019 habits were coming back. And if he doesn't have almost perfect protection, that's when you start seeing him lost. And as far as I'm concerned, what'd you say his numbers were today? 15 of 33?
15 of 33, 155.
15 of 33. There were guys that were wide open for first downs. And we're not talking, wide open as in like 15 yards downfield, 12 yards downfield. We're talking 3 yards, 5 yards. And it's not like where you could say, oh, he was sort of in his peripheral vision. So he couldn't see. It was right in front of him and sailing balls. And again, I don't think it has anything to do with the shoulder personally. A guy that has a hurt shoulder isn't diving around and taking hits and whatnot. And he's, if you go back and look at every play, you've never seen him even wince or look at the shoulder. So the shoulder is just an excuse to try and, back up the horrible quarterback play that we saw today. And last week wasn't, a picnic either. But I'll leave it here because I could do this all day.
Yeah.
But if this is the Baker Mayfield that we continue to get, right?
Right. And
even if it's the Baker Mayfield of a couple games ago that was putting up solid, stats from a completion percentage, 15 for 18, what have you. You think this front office is going to give this guy $200 million? Because I don't see it. And I think it's games like today and stuff that I saw last week when I was watching the film that there's a reason why they're not even in talks, right? They're not even talking right now about a contract. And I think it's because of games like today. And I don't, until we see better quarterback play. I just don't. I don't know how you give him that kind of money. And I'm not saying, we got to go back to drafting somebody or what have you. But I could just tell you this: if he thinks that he's going to get $200 million from this team, it ain't happening. So he's either going to take less, and they want him, or they're not. But he's not. But this is not $200 million quarterback play. This isn't even $5 million quarterback play. But as you could tell, I'm very passionate about this. I was frustrated all game, and I will let you guys talk.
Well, I just pulled up the salary, what it could be looking like, and right now his base salary of $920, but he's set to make next year $18 million, which I believe is the 5th-year option, right? So big jump in salary. I mean, most of his money was all the signing bonus, by the way. So it's not like his salary was really the thing. It's all the guaranteed signing money there.
And Mike, no, and I said I was going to shut up, but here I am again.
Yeah.
It's year 4, right?
Yep.
And I don't care about, well, he had a couple of different head coaches or whatever. It doesn't matter. If you're talented, you're talented, right? We're not talking about the 10th pick of the draft, the 24th pick of the draft, or even the 32nd pick of the draft. We're talking about the number 1 draft pick. It's time to put up or shut up. You either show us the greatness as to why we drafted you, or this is what we're going to get. I'm tired too of hearing the, well, he's going to get better. He's got to get better. We're on year 4. 15 for 33 when the offense is designed to lean on the run and then go off a play action.
Yeah.
So it's maddening, and we won the game, and that's why I'm aggravated that I'm aggravated, because it was a big win. But we did. If we go into LA next week and this is the quarterback play we're going to get, good luck.
Yeah, and that was the thing that the good news was the Vikings have we talked about this in the pregame show. They have a very weak run stopping offense. Okay, so that's the thing, and we knew that going in. So we knew if we could get a lead, and even if it wasn't a huge lead, that they were going to have a lot of trouble trying to stop Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. But the problem was when there was a minute, just about a little bit over a minute left, and we had to get 1 first down, and we couldn't get the 1 first down and had to punt it back, and they had a timeout, but they had to go 72 yards, which is and they had to score the touchdown. So, that's a bit of a tall order, but they could not get the first down when they needed it. And those are the plays that are going to separate the great teams from the really good teams. And I think right now the Cleveland Browns are a very good team, and our defense has gone from who the heck are these guys? Why are they doing nothing? To all of a sudden they can keep up with anybody. Because if you really look at Kirk Cousins coming into this game, he was having probably the best season of his career. So if Kirk Cousins goes off and does what he could do, like on that opening drive, I was like, oh, this is going to be a long day. It's going to be a real long day.
Yeah. And, the whole completion percentage argument as well. The Kansas City defense couldn't stop the 3 of us. The Texans are garbage. Last week, we started seeing the cracks against a good Chicago defense. And then here we are against the Vikings today. So there's a lot of arguments out there, but it's in plain sight. And I let's hope that we see some progress, but it's maddening at this point to see this type of play.
Yeah, I would have much rather you see Baker have, complete more passes and throw a couple touchdowns. If you think back to the biggest one when he rolled out on that I want to say it was it 4th down when he did that? He rolled out and missed Kareem Hunt, and then they had a holding call.
You're in my head. Yep.
Yeah. So he missed Kareem Hunt wide open in the end zone. I mean, he went up and tried to get it, but he missed him. And, that's 7 points right there, right? We got lucky with the holding call, but that's 7 points that we missed. And, when you have those opportunities, you have to convert them, right? You have to. So I'm glad we were eventually able to do that. But my gosh, I mean, for us on the one play, the play before that, where they kind of flipped it out to Odell, which, to be honest, I think Baker's throwing it away. I don't think he was trying to actually give Odell a chance to catch that. Odell on that little in wheel route, that little in spin and turn out, if he hits Odell right on that spin, that's probably a touchdown. So I feel like there's just something off with him right now. Ever since the play that he threw the interception, because on that interception, he sailed it. Right. So it wasn't just his shoulder getting knocked out. It was on the play. He sailed that ball. And it's like, there's something in his head. I think it's his head that's wrong.
I don't doubt that at all. I mean, again, it's not the shoulder. But what it, so then what is it? Like, is it a mental thing? I mean, the one thing that I noticed, and it started last week, if this guy doesn't have a perfect pocket, or at least the illusion of solid line play, if you will, meaning, there's no chaos anywhere in front of him, he'll pick you apart accuracy wise.
Right.
But man, as soon as there's a little bit of chaos anywhere in front of him, you start seeing the balls sail, you start seeing the happy feet, and, it is what it is. I mean, and it's not like we're making this up. I mean, it was right there, in front of us for everybody to see. So,
And looking at the receiving, he spread the ball out quite a bit. Higgins with 4, Odell 2, Kareem Hunt 2, Njoku 2, Felton 2. Hooper only had 1. Chubb had that one little one. Harrison Bryant had that one too as well. So, I mean, he spread the ball out quite a bit. But it wasn't a lot of production throwing. It was a lot of production on the ground. Dad, what are your thoughts? What is your take on Baker in the last 2 games, and specifically today?
Yeah, not good. I was disappointed. I was, like I said at the beginning, I wanted the offense to bounce back, and that starts with Baker. Glad we had the running game going. He did make a couple of nice throws on all those completions that you just went through. But quarterbacks are only as good as your last throw, and he really wasn't throwing very well at the end. Now you got to look at Cousins too. Cousins got a lot of money to be the quarterback of the future for Minnesota, and he's not really producing. You cited his stats, Mike, but a loss is a loss. A quarterback that can't put up more than 7 points. They didn't even attempt a field goal. So, I mean, he didn't even get him in field goal territory. So, it's a little early on Baker. I still have a lot of faith in him. I like his determination. I like his grit. I like the way he plays hard. But I agree with Mike. The jury is out on him from this point on. He's got to come back with a couple of games. If he plays anywhere near the way he played today, next week, we lose that game.
Yeah,
because Herbert is for real out there. The Chargers are for real. It's a coast game, which we don't play well at. So he's got to come back and prove it and earn the money that he's trying to get. And I agree, he's not going to get $200 million, even close to it, by playing the way he has. Even though we won the game, and you have to win those ugly but effective games. But yeah, it's just the naysayers on Baker will come out big time, and they'll criticize him, and he'll be the first to admit I played shitty. That doesn't, that's not a real excuse or anything. He's taking responsibility, but he's got to step it up. And it may be the shoulder, may not be. Anytime you separate a shoulder, that's not an injury. That's a piece of cake. Whether they're giving him shots so he can throw the ball or not, I don't know. He wants to play. I guess we have a better than 50-50 chance if we put Case Keenum in there even next week because they want to rest him and give the shoulder a chance to really heal properly. He could survive if Chubb and the offensive line are opening holes, and if the defense steps up and plays really well the way they did today. That was the big positive for me coming out of this. The defense, JOK, Miles, Clowney. I mean, Clowney got hurt, then he came back in again. So he plays tough too. Ward got beat a couple of times, but then he made a couple of nice plays. And it was nice that Greedy got the interception. The rest of the guys stepped up as well, the linebackers. So it was, I'm sure Minnesota expected to score more than 7 points, especially since they got the 7 points on the first drive and it went through us like butter. We couldn't get them off the field.
Yeah.
How many third downs did they have to get off the field, Mike? How many times did we stop them?
I'm looking at that right now. Third down efficiency, 5 of 16. The Vikings. So our defense has gone from one of the worst on third down to really, really good.
Yeah, in two games, the first two were mediocre. The last two have been outstanding.
Yeah, it's because they're putting pressure on third down now.
Right.
They're not just, and the one third down that we really need to stop Cousins, where he threw it over the middle. There was no pressure. We didn't get to him. Cousins hit his back step and hit his guy, right? But
we just find it hard recently to put teams away. Even when we had the interception, when we had the fourth down, he flipped it forward. The game still wasn't over. They had 3 timeouts left. We couldn't make a first down. We had to give it back to them, and they had one more shot. He makes 1 or 2 passes, and with maybe 20 seconds, and he's got a couple of shots at the end zone to tie the game. And who knows what can happen then?
Yeah, you know what? I think too. Play calling was kind of suspect here and there. And I have to tell you personally, and especially the way that Chase is kicking right now, 4th and 6, I think it was, or 4th and 5 down there early.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what? Throw the analytic book away at that point. I mean, since the dawn of time in an NFL game, you always take the points on the road.
Right.
And at the end of that game, you're up 10 if you just take those points.
Right.
And so there, I get the 4th and 1. Okay.
Same thing happened on the Jags game where Urban Meyer just did not want to take those 3 points, and it ended up costing him the game. And this one we were able to hold on, but my gosh, I mean, you win game. The win condition in football is who has more points at the end of the game. And if you can cut that lead in half or close to in half, those points always come back at the end.
Yeah.
Just really quickly, guys, just to go
third down efficiency was pretty good, 7 to 10. That's not bad.
Want to go through the NFL scores here for the week. So the Jets just beat the Titans in overtime. I don't know how that went down, but in overtime, the Bears beat the Lions. We got a new subscriber there. The Bears beat the Lions 24-14. So I would assume that's Justin Fields' first win, I guess. Yeah, that's good for him. You've got the Colts who beat the winless Colts, now have a win, beating the Dolphins. The football team in a nail-biter beats the Falcons. The Bills...
That was a late McKissick touchdown, and he was on my bench. Wasn't happy about that.
Ooh. The Bills annihilate the Texans.
Right.
That is a
surprise there.
Disgusting score.
Yeah.
The Giants in overtime.
Oh, was that overtime? Wow.
In overtime. The Chiefs 42-30. Yeah. Let me move my alert box up here.
Look at the Cardinals game.
Yeah, 14-10 already.
Yeah, Cardinals are up a little bit. Cowboys beat the Panthers. Panthers are no longer
Look at the Steelers. Steelers are up 7-0.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and then the Steelers, Ravens are 0-0 at the end of the couldn't get close to the end.
Boy, teams getting off the schneid,
Yeah, it would be wild if the Steelers were able to pull that off, right? But it's still got a lot of game left. Yeah. Yeah. But the big one here is the Jets. Taking a look at this one real quick. Tannehill, decent game. Zach Wilson, 21 of 34, 297, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And I'll take it in a win, you know?
Yeah.
I'll take it in a win. So good for the Jets. Standing wise, they usually don't update these right away, but there we go. Okay. So there we are. We are in first place in the AFC North with the lowly Bengals, but it does look good. It just doesn't feel great. You know, that's the thing about this. It's like, and Mike had very valid criticisms, and I think that's why I feel a little uneasy. You know, it's that we haven't had the really great and consistent quarterback play that we really need if you want to be an elite team, if you want to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was going to say, and now, you know, and you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. You know, the guy says he could play, he's passing the test. You keep throwing him out there.
Right.
You know, and then today it caught up to him, and I know he was carted off again. So let's hope that it's nothing,
Right.
season ending, and it's, you know, now they put him on the bench and they let him heal. But that left tackle is going to be it's going to be a bear. I mean, I don't know if
Hudson must have played okay. I didn't see him give up an easy sack to Baker when he was thrown there at the end. So and I think he played almost the whole fourth quarter. So maybe the kid's got some talent, and maybe it's his time to step up.
Yeah, I mean, Jedrick's been making some weird plays recently, and making some weird decisions and some penalties that have just been like frustrating. You know, just frustrating when those penalties happen. But obviously, he's not right either right now.
No.
He is absolutely not. So that's the thing. If our left tackle isn't 100% or even close to 100%, I mean, when he went off the field, he was pissed.
And hurt. We got to the bench. He was, bent over in pain. So he knew that ankle had flared up on whatever, play it was that hurt him. But yeah, he could be out for several weeks trying to get that thing healed.
Yeah, and to be honest, like, it might not be a bad idea to give somebody else some reps if you are going to go out. Now, the kid who's the left tackle who went in is a rookie as well, or a young guy who's a rookie. So, let's give him a shot. I mean, he's definitely not going to be he's not the kind of guy like Jedrick when he is 100%. Jedrick's pretty good.
Yeah.
But
and you design around that too. That's Stefanski's job as both the head coach and I guess he's the offensive coordinator too, or working with the offensive coordinator. You got to design plays to help him as the rookie left tackle, whether they be running plays or the option plays to the other side to get Baker away from who's ever rushing on that side. But yeah, teams are going to sense that out as a weakness on our part, which it probably is, and they're going to try to exploit it in future games. So we have a chance to at least neutralize it. He may not be great, but as long as he's not getting Baker in danger and he's holding up his end as far as the run blocking for Chubb and Hunt, then we can hopefully survive until Wills come back.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the deal. I mean, every quarterback and every player isn't going to be perfect every game. But so Baker had an off game today. I think he had a bit of an off game last game as well. The accuracy, which is typically Baker's strength, his ball placement and his accuracy has been the thing that's been missing the last two games. Maybe it's the shoulder, maybe whatever it is. I don't know, but I mean,
Packers got a touchdown, so Steelers and Packers are tied up, and the Broncos are up 6-0 on the Ravens.
Yeah, let's see if that was a touchdown or was it a field goal. It was a touchdown. So up 7. There you go. 7.
Yeah, here we go.
There we go. So we got it just hasn't updated here on the board. So that's good. Broncos are up. So if the best case scenario we can get here now is Steelers and both Ravens lose.
Right.
And and then we've got the Cardinals next week. We've got another high-powered offense and a very good defense. Chandler Jones out there having a fantastic season. And if we don't have our left tackle, man, I mean, Chandler Jones going up against a rookie left tackle who's got a couple snaps in under his belt. I mean, that is going to be an interesting day. We're going to have to be very careful with
That's
with
2
that
weeks.
one. Oh, that's right. That's 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Two
that's 2 weeks from now.
Correct. You're right. But yeah,
We have a Bosa that we have to block.
there you go. Yeah,
Another one, man.
yeah, another one. Looking at the Chargers today, I'm trying to say not
Monday night.
White, Tranquil, Joey Bosa. So yeah, I mean, I think the scary thing about the Chargers is the same thing. It's the same as the Vikings. They are a pass-heavy team. Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Mike Williams. That's their offense, but they're younger and better. They are younger and better and healthier. So I could see that game being ugly. Right. But
I'm going to
who
step
knows?
out for a minute, Mike. It's hot in here. And I'll let you and Mike take over and go Brownies and ugly but effective. That's my final comment.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Dad.
All right.
See ya.
See ya, Mike.
Yeah. So I think it's just going to be a very interesting next couple days. Right. I really do. And I am interested in watching the post-game press conferences. I would like to hear what Baker has to say. I'd like to hear what Stefanski has to say. This is another one. Give a game ball to Joe Woods.
Yeah.
I was frustrated. I was frustrated with him early on with that soft zone, but whatever he's done, he is making the adjustments, and I will give him credit for that all day long. I think Stefanski called a good game too. I think he did.
Yeah, there was a couple spots here and there that I think it was the second to last drive. You've clearly Baker is off, so run the ball a little bit. There was a chance where I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think if they run on that drive, there was a possibility to take a minute and 19 seconds or something like that off the clock.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple spotty things here and there, and I just hate leaving points, down there on the goal line. But again, I mean, we could criticize Stefanski on some play calls here and there, but I mean, at the same time, there were plays that he was spot on, and Baker just couldn't make the throw or didn't choose to make a wide open throw that was right in front of him. I mean, it is what it is. But hopefully they figure it out. They get on the practice field this week, but it's going to be tough without our starting left tackle. But they need to protect, because what I've seen is if it breaks down a little bit, that's when the chaos starts. So
yeah, and I think when you look at our schedule, when you think about our schedule and who we're going to be playing here over the next couple weeks. So Chargers, Cardinals, Broncos, Steelers, Bengals. Out of these next couple of games, the Chargers are good. The Cardinals can win. The Broncos are currently undefeated. The Steelers, meh, but they're still the Steelers. They're still going to play us tough. Then you get the Bengals, who are off to a good start. Then you get the Patriots. I mean, we don't have any layups.
No,
we really don't.
Next week's going to be tough you're going to LA.
Yeah. So you're taking a flight across the country,
Yeah. And these guys, I mean, the Chargers put points on the board. So, we can't just rely on the run. We have to complete passes, and it's not even. And you just got to make the throws that are the high percentage throws that enable you to rely on your run game and move the chains. And we couldn't even do that today. So I mean, that to me, that was the most frustrating part. And you just hope that gets corrected. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's frustrating. It's absolutely frustrating.
Yeah, Michael Hammond said in chat, watching replay now, Wills goes down, and there goes any decent pass protection. Keith C was saying, yeah, I watched it. You don't replace your starting quarterback with a lead and no interceptions with a quarterback that's rusty and on the bench, right? I mean, I didn't think there's any chance we're gonna be benching Baker. I mean, he wasn't sharp, but he also wasn't. He didn't do anything to lose us the game in terms of fumbles, interceptions, or just terrible plays. There, I think on the tape you're going to see a lot of wide open guys in the flat that he, for whatever reason, decided not to throw the ball to him. And I don't know if it's an overthinking thing, or I think Baker thinks he's a lot more athletic than he actually is, because when he rolls out to the side, when he loses that momentum, the initial momentum, and then tries to get shifty, it's like his feet are in the mud. He just thunk, 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 and then gets swallowed up by whoever's there. So, yeah, I mean, I was not impressed today. I think Baker he's got to be better. He's got to be sharper, because that's all you have to do with this team, right? All you have to do is not make mistakes, and when you have guys open, put the ball on them, let them make plays. And he had a couple good passes. He had a really good pass to Higgins over the middle. He had a good pass to OBJ over the middle. I mean, he stepped up and fired the ball when he had to. But it's the ones that when they are open, and in the NFL, if you got to step on a guy, if you have people that are open, you can't afford to miss them, because you don't get those opportunities all that often.
Yeah, what's funny, and I get it. There's people in the chat that, you guys are a little bit negative here. Let me just ask a question. Seriously, and you tell me.
Okay.
Besides the praising of the defense today, what conversation is there really to get excited about on the offensive side of the ball, besides the usual suspects? Nick Chubb, great as usual. Hunt, great as usual. And then now where does the conversation go from there? Help me. Where is the positive conversation that we could have right now about the offense after discussing those two guys?
It's so frustrating, because the offense came out firing. I mean, they came out firing the first two games, and the defense we were all scared about. We're like, this defense is we're not gonna win championships with this defense. But now it's like this offense. The offense is the thing that is slowing this team down. And
right.
How much of it is missing Jarvis Landry? How much of it is Jedrick Wills not being healthy? How much? I don't know. But you wouldn't think it'd be that much, because we got Odell back, right? So yeah. It shouldn't be that crazy. But that's the thing. Football oftentimes comes down to the quarterback. That's why they're paid the most. That's why they touch the ball every time. So when your quarterback is off, even if they don't throw interceptions, you don't have to. Right. I mean, he overthrew Harrison Bryant by 10 yards. He's throwing it out. I mean, and I guess I don't really know if there was a breakdown or something like that in terms of communication, or where the guy should have gone, or if he just sailed it. But those are the plays that elite quarterbacks are going to make, and, average quarterbacks aren't. And so if it's the shoulder, that's a problem. If it's the protection, that's a problem. But yeah.
I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, we'll call it like it was piss poor play today. And like I said, hopefully they go back to the woodshed during the week.
Yeah.
And, they come back out and the accuracy is back. I just hope, again, that our pass protection holds up on the left side of the line, because that's when you start seeing the little bit of a happy feet and missing guys. So, it is what it is. We'll see. We'll see how they get that squared away.
Yeah, looks like the Cardinals are opening up a little bit there against the Rams, 21-10. Everybody thinks the Rams are the best team in the NFL.
Yeah.
So, you come out and you beat the Super Bowl champions, you beat Tom Brady, and then you let Kyler Murray come into town and smack you around. So, it's still early, but that's a lot of points, right?
Yeah.
So Ravens just tied it up 7-7 because, of course. And, And then we get the late game. The Buccaneers go to the Patriots. So Tom Brady goes back to New England.
Did you see, I can't remember, the Boston Globe deemed this the greatest sporting event ever tonight?
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal. It's a regular season game. It's interesting to a degree, but it's more like, I think it's interesting on like the national generic level. Most people, like, I don't care. I give absolutely two shits about that game.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I might watch it. I might not. It's not the greatest. I guess if I was in New England, I'd care. But, if somebody won me, like 8 Super Bowls or whatever he won, like, I'd be interested in watching that too. So,
yeah. I'm just happy that the defense is improving.
Yeah.
They're gelling, and I mean, it's week 4, so barring injury, knock on wood, what are they going to look like in 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now? So, we just got to play a complete game. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, the defense luckily is showing up, which is great. Because they say defense wins championships, and the reason why is because the offense can't be razor sharp every week. And you could have an offense that scores 30, 40 points, but if you're also giving up 30, 40 points, then that's not a good situation either. And that's what we had last year, right? So this year we've got a defense that's actually stopping teams. And today was the first kind of big test because the Minnesota Vikings can score points.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, your final stat line is the last thing I'll say. 15-33, 155 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, which was a positive for a 59.5 passer rating.
Yeah. I mean,
got to do better. That's the facts. It has to be better.
Yeah. I mean, that PFF is going to look ugly. I think it's going to be ugly.
But what are those defensive ones going to look like?
I mean, I think Owusu Koromoa is probably going to is going to widen the gap in terms of the number one linebacker in the NFL. He is as advertised. And you know how strange it is to say that, because as a Browns fan, how often have we drafted, stud guys out of college in the first round, and then, Barkevius Mingo and guys like that, that you were like, okay, this guy's going to be just a killer, and they're just bad, not even mediocre bad, but Cameron Wembley, guys like that are like, where is the killer? And JOK, it looks like he's that guy, which if we got ourselves a killer linebacker and we have ourselves a very good defensive back, who, by the way, having Greedy step in, that was one of the things that we were thinking about on the Wednesday show that we talked about.
Yeah.
And he played pretty darn good.
Yeah, I thought so.
Jefferson
really did.
Jefferson did make some circus type catches on him, but hey.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Mids Plug's asking, Mike, how do you see this DB lineup looking when everyone is healthy? Greedy looked good today. Mike, what do you think?
I definitely think Newsome gets plugged back in there. The kid is lights out, and then you're just, you've got just solid depth, right? I mean, Greedy, for all intent and purpose, Greedy is a starting cornerback in the NFL. There's no question about it. But I don't, when Newsome comes back, when he's healthy, that's his spot. most certainly. But you've got Greedy's the first to come off the bench, and depending on what the package is, he's going to be on the field a little bit. Probably when Newsome comes back, you'll probably see Greedy with 7 to 8 snaps probably a game. But it's a really good problem to have. I think with to have that depth back there, especially with the scheme that Woods likes to play.
Yeah. And Troy Hill played pretty well as well. Shoot the Thrill, thank you for subscribing. Troy Hill played pretty well, other than the kind of the BS pass interference call. I think it was BS, by the way.
Yeah.
I felt the flags today were fairly inconsistent, but I there wasn't enough that I could argue they were complete garbage, but they were a little ticky tacky, and we really got away with the one where Cousins threw the long pass, and they got the tight end for holding on Miles. That came back. That could have been the difference of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right then and there, because they were moving, and it was a big third down. Right?
Yeah.
So
I could see where some were coming from in terms of the roughing the passer. I think that, and I don't know who it was that was on the ground, but I think had that guy not been on the ground and Mac Wilson just pulls up and just taps him the way he did, and Cousins just falls to the ground without getting bent over by the guy that just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time on the ground, I don't think they throw that flag, or if they do, they pick it up. I think that was, getting the tap and then having your legs bent and going backwards. I think that's what ultimately drew the flag and kept the flag.
Green Bay scores on the Steelers. So they're up 14-7, still tied. Ravens, Broncos. Ravens have the ball.
Who scored that Ravens touchdown? Did you see that?
It was Latavius Murray.
Go ahead. Oh no, I was just gonna say they elevated Bell and Williams was inactive. Interesting.
Yeah, and Bell has 2 carries for 4 yards. And I mean, look at their backfield: Latavius Murray, Le'Veon Bell, Devonta Freeman. It's like an awesome 2017 backfield.
Yeah.
It's like
it really is.
They're kind of like the Texans. They have big name running backs who are all past their prime.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, bring in Devonta Freeman. And they're like, okay, Le'Veon Bell, fine. Bring him in.
Yeah.
Hand him off the ball. But Lamar Jackson, 5 for 10, 74 yards. That's about right for him. Mark Andrews is doing nothing just yet. So, we've been at it for a little while. This is probably a good time to wrap up. Everybody, before we go, if you could please hit the like button for me. Just hit the like button one time. Everybody, hit the like button. And we will be back on Wednesday. We'll be back on Wednesday this week to do the Wednesday show again, which will be giving away the Victory Monday mugs. Right, so that's exciting.
Yeah, and let's not forget. I mean, sure, you get the good with the bad, but the bottom line, and you just alluded to it, and you just threw it in the chat.
Yep,
we're drinking out of the mugs tomorrow. We're 3-1.
Feels good.
It feels good, and if this defense continues, like I said, to evolve the way they are, it's going to be a very, very good season, I believe.
I agree. So we will see you on the Wednesday show, guys, with drinking out of the mugs tomorrow. I think I'm going to take a deep breath. I will reflect a little bit about this one. I'm going to go watch whatever game is on. I'm trying to think what game I'll probably have locally. If I had to guess, I don't think any of these games necessarily matter to us. So we might have the Steelers-Packers here locally. But I'll be watching that. And just trying to stay positive. We're 3-1. Baker had a bad game. The defense is playing really well. JOK is a stud. Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb and Myles Garrett. Everybody stayed healthy today. We didn't have any big injuries.
Yeah.
Hopefully Jedrick can rest and keep those 300 pounds off that ankle for a couple days. Ice it up and You know, maybe he'll be back next week. We'll see. Maybe he needs to take a week off. Who knows? But let's see what we can do, and we will see you guys at 7 p.m. By the way, Mike, I will be broadcasting the Wednesday show from Colorado. I'll be in Denver on Wednesday, so I will do my very best. We'll be syncing up. So everybody, for the regular audience, just keep an eye on Twitter because we may be adjusting the hours since I'm going to be in Mountain Time or whatever it is out there.
Yep.
So there's going to be like some hour difference. So we may bump it back a little bit. We may bump it up. I don't know yet, but just keep an eye on Twitter. I'll also put a post up on here on YouTube as well. So people who have the notifications and see those posts, you'll see when we're going live. But thank you guys very much for being here. Appreciate everybody. American Saxon, BSIF, Keith C, X-Men Avenger, Norman Baldwin Jr., Shoot the Thrill, Cleveland BCI. Big thanks to Max Nikolenko for the super chat. Thanks for all the new subscribers. Thanks for everybody clicking the like button for us. And we'll be drinking out of our mugs tomorrow.
Yes, we will.
And we will be seeing you guys on Wednesday.
And speaking of Wednesday, I'll leave this. If the shipping is correct, I'll be drinking out of a very special mug for the Wednesday show.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I think I know what mug we're going to be talking about.
Yep.
All right. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Thank you, everybody. And we will see you on Wednesday. Go Browns.
Go Browns.